Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. Packed show as always, loads to go through. Todd Boehly's been speaking to Forbes. Cole Palmer is set to be offered a new contract with a significant pay rise on his current deal. Alfie Gilchrist has extended his contract at Chelsea. The Blues are not in the market for a new goalkeeper. We've also got the latest on the potential of Mauricio Pochettino being here beyond next summer, this coming summer, sorry. Lots and lots to get into, guys, as always. So please make sure as soon as you come in, you are smashing that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new round here. Lots to get into, as I said, guys, lots to get into. Obviously, got the Man United game tomorrow on Thursday as well. So, yeah, packed show tonight, guys. Loads of stuff to discuss. Obviously, Ousmane Diamonde is one of Chelsea's top centre-back targets, according to Ben Jacobs. We can dive a bit more into that, whether it makes sense or not to make a move for him. But let's say hello to a few people in the chat, and let's see what's happening. We need to go and get some experience for this team in the summer. We do, with leadership, definitely. Chelsea might be 13th by the end of today, behind Fulham and Bournemouth. Do they both need to win? Maybe we'll be behind them. Who knows? Yes, big up. Yes, big up VFX. They're doing well. I don't know is the answer to that. Yes, big up, big up. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, let's hope that's not the case. But yeah, knowing our luck and how things have gone this season, that could well end up being the case. So let's hope it's not, though. Don't think we should sign Diamonde. No, fair enough. We're going to get into that. Let's start with Todd Boehly, because people have been calling for ownership to speak out and say more. He has had some stuff to say, speaking to Forbes, a front cover interview, all that sort of thing. And look, it's good that he's spoken, but it's also like it's just gone to show that you can speak when you want to, but why have you gone to speak through some sort of glossy publication? Why can't you go and speak directly to the fans through the club's channels? That's what I'm not quite understanding at this point in time. But do you know what? It is what it is. This is what he's had to say for himself. Looking very smart there. Todd looks like a little dating profile picture for the big man. We just need to let the process develop and give them the time to go from being unbelievable individual players with great skills to fold into a team. The good news is people care so much, and the bad news is people care so much. That leads to times when they're frustrated with the team and the owners. I get that, but we just have to continue to stay the course. Now, that sounds like he that's very much as expected, that they're not going to deviate from this course of action. We're too far down the road, and too much money spent for us to try and change track now. Look, I get it. We need to let the process develop. Yeah, we all know that. We obviously know these players need time to go from reaching their potential. We know they need time to gel together as a team, but that doesn't excuse the fact that we're 11th in the table. It doesn't excuse the fact that we are lacking basic coaching, basic tactics, basic ideas, a basic philosophy. We don't have any of those things. And look, we all understand that this is not a quick fix and this will take time, but it's just to say that, we just got to trust the process, without there being much evidence that the process is working at all, is not particularly helpful in my view. So look, it's good he's spoken, of course it is, and like fans are asking for communication, but it would just it would have landed a lot better if he'd spoken directly via the Chelsea channels than via Forbes. Look, it is what it is, but does this not highlight the disconnect right now that everyone is feeling between the fans and the club, when part of the ownership won't come and speak through official Chelsea channels, but will go and give some glossy interview to Forbes because he's been offered an opportunity to be on the front cover? Why couldn't have this come through Chelsea's official channels, and speak to the fans more directly rather than through these publications? I don't really I don't really understand it, to be perfectly honest. But look, at least he's spoken. At least he said some stuff. Obviously, kind of what we expected. That to just believe in the process. He's obviously understands the frustration and whatnot. Look, we get all that. We do get all that. But I don't know. I just felt this is little bit of a missed opportunity. Why, when you can do something like this, why won't you communicate through the club's official channels? That's what I'm trying to get at. But obviously, for reasons unbeknownst to us, it is what it is at the end of the day, people. But yeah, I don't know. Communication, obviously, as I said, through these secondhand pieces, it is distancing you further from the people who you should be talking to directly. And he's basically, in essence, saying, it's nice you care, and it's nice you're passionate, but at the end of the day, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And no matter how much fuss you make or whatever, or how, poor the results are, we're not backing down. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to keep doing it until it works. And if that takes 3 years, 5 years, or whatever it takes, then we are going to stay the course. And it doesn't matter about your concerns. That's kind of essentially what that seems to be saying. The problem is the process isn't working and never should have been the way the club was taken down. Process won't work if they don't develop under a good manager of talent. So, I absolutely agree that the process won't work if we keep constantly chopping and changing the manager. The process won't work if we don't give it the time to work. But we can't hide behind the process as an excuse for poor results, because the players that we've got right now and the squad that we've got at our disposal, admittedly, it's been injury ravaged, but it's much better than 11th in the table. This is not a team that, with the quality of players that we have, that is only good enough for 11th place. Brighton have reported a British record post-tax. Yeah, they have. Most of that's going to have come from us, I'd imagine. Well, look, I think they obviously believe in everyone, but I think you probably say Cole Palmer, Malo Gusto, I think, is well on that way. I think you can look at the midfield. Just they've struggled this season, but there's two top-class players in Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. 2 seasons, 1 billion, and still mid-table. That's how it is right now. Yes, big up, all good, brother. Todd needs to grow some and just sack him if players don't. Well, I don't think there's any suggestion of that. The players are good individually, but they don't complement each other on a pitch. Yeah, this is what we're getting at here. Is that this is not a team. This is very much reminiscent, in my opinion, to I think 14-15 and 17-18, where we are just reliant on one player. We are heavily reliant on Cole Palmer, and if he doesn't do anything, then we're fucked. That's no real way to operate as a side. It simply isn't. We are sorry, not 14-15. Sorry, a copy of 17-18 and 18-19. In terms of a team that's heavily reliant on one player, yet we find ourselves in an 11th, all because we are shambolic defensively. That's the problem, Ultimately, if we weren't so poor defensively, we would be a lot higher at the table. Yes, we are heavily reliant on Cole Palmer. There's no denying that. There's no escaping that. We absolutely are. In the same essence that we were heavily reliant on Eden Hazard, we are heavily reliant on Cole Palmer. But yeah, defensively, that's why we're in the bottom half. You can say, we've missed loads of chances and we need a striker. Yeah, absolutely. But ultimately, the reason why we're bottom half is purely because we have let in so many goals. That's the reality of the situation. So that absolutely needs to be fixed. But yeah, I mean, slightly digressing away from the point of that one. But look, by doing this, he has proven that if he wants to, he can talk at any time. But it seems kind of not just him, but obviously the ownership are kind of choosing to ignore all the concerned Chelsea fans, and instead, as I said, chat to Forbes without any issues because they've stuck him on the front page, and all this while Clearlake is still hiding in silence, essentially. And that's kind of all he's got to say. It does come across as very, very out of touch, and it is a problem. He's not really had much to say. I mean, the article itself, like this is not Boehly speaking, but the article itself, the guy that has written it said, not that it really matters, love him or hate him. Boehly knows that so long as fans show up or tune in, his annuity holding backers will get paid, and his billions will continue to grow. It's look. You can't just. I just don't think you can come out as an owner and just say, yeah, just trust it. It's going to be fine. And your concerns, yeah, we're not bothered about that. We're just gonna go down this route, whether you like it or not. It's frustrating, 100%. Really, really frustrating. But what I would say, people that are saying, "Oh, get the owners gone," they're not going anywhere. It's a waste of energy. 10 years they're here for minimum. And look, it's not gone well for the first couple of years, but I don't actually doubt that this won't be a success. I think this will be a success, but the problem we've got is how long until it's going to be a success. That's the huge issue. You know, they've made a lot of mistakes, absolutely, and they will cost us big time in the short and medium term. However, these guys have got a track record of big success in sport and other businesses. And so for me personally, I don't think there's much doubt that this will succeed long term. It just depends, well, how long is long term? How long is it going to be until we are where we want to be? And no one really knows the answer to that. We need Tar at the back, but he won't come to us without European football. They have the ability to sell their club. They don't have, they're not, no, the contract stipulates you can't sell it for 10 years. That is, Roman put that in there so that we weren't just going to be passed around. To be honest, it's going to be hard for any manager to change things with so many top players injured all season. Yeah, I hear that. What else is coming in? Do you think Portugal will be in charge next season? Yes, I do. If we miss out on Europe altogether, I would say no. But I think as long as we qualify for Europe, then I would say yes, he will still be here. Problem is the coach, Caicedo, Colwell, Enzo, Malagusto, Palmer, etc. But no, they're not bad players. Yeah, the problem is we're not a team. We still look like a bunch of individuals. And of course, that is absolutely to be expected given they've all just been chucked together. And it does take time to build a team. 100%. Everyone knows it takes time to build a team, but you know, that's not an excuse for drawing 2-2 to Burnley. That's not an excuse for being 11th in the table. That's not an excuse for being on course to set a club record for most goals conceded in a season. These are basics, and yet we're found wanting on the basics so many times. We cannot continue the way that we're going right now. It's not right. It's not right, and it's not working. So I don't know what the solution is at this point in time, but we need to find one, and we need to find it quickly. Why go to Forbes? Why not speak to the fans? That's what I was saying previously. You know, you should have done this through the Chelsea channels. The message would have hit much better. I don't know why there was an Arsenal fan on there. I've not listened to it, but I have seen that. I'm not sure why that was the case. The problem is these owners who hired this board. That look, ultimately, whether we like it or not, Pochettino was the best choice for us in the summer. For the way that the squad had been put together. Now, is he the right man for Chelsea long term? I don't really know. Evidence would suggest not right now. But there is going to have to come a point where we back a manager through a difficult period. Because every time things don't go well, we can't just be like, oh, we're just going to chuck our toys out the pram and hope for the best. We can't keep doing that. I'm not accepting a third season. No one's accepting it. Show me a time in history when a group of billionaires changed their business plan because ordinary people... Yeah, they absolutely have. But to blatantly just disregard anything fans say or not communicate with fans and address any difficulties that they have, that any concerns they have about the club is not a good way of going about things. Sports that don't include relegation. We're not going to get relegated. I think we need to stop with this nonsense that Chelsea might get relegated. We absolutely won't. Right, what else are people saying in the chat? Guys, there's so much coming in. I'll try and get through as much as I can. No, exactly. This bit here in the Forbes article, this was the only bit on Chelsea in there. So yeah, and would we have expected much different from Boehly in what he said there? No, we absolutely wouldn't. Guys, what I would expect differently is the amount of likes on the stream so far. 62 in the building, only 29 likes. Guys, bump it up. Keep smashing that like button. Let's get this to 50 likes as quickly as possible, people. So please do run it up. It's free, it takes seconds, and it helps out more than you could imagine. It really, really helps. So please do that. And please subscribe, of course, if you are new round here. Think he'll still be here? Yet there was PR about players. No, that source is dreadful. That was saying that isn't the case at all. So just not everything you read is true, but that particular source, Graham Bailey, is useless. To be perfectly honest. With Brighton's English record earnings, you can see why the Chelsea owners follow the Brighton model. Well, most of it's come from us. But yeah, they're a very, very well-run football club. Probably the best-run club in the league. No doubt about it. Other managers would take this job. Like, no, people wouldn't not take it, but it's not. Chelsea aren't the attractive proposition they once were. Yeah, absolutely. There isn't any truth in that at all. It's not been reported anywhere else. Nagelsmann would be my first choice. Nagelsmann's not going to come to Chelsea. Get behind what? There's zero tactical plan, idea, and fluidity after almost 10 months. Yeah, it is inexcusable. Absolutely is. But you know what? They're going to assess it in the summer. They're going to speak to Pochettino. Let's see what the lie of the land is. Yeah, for sure, there's some mitigating factors. And I'm sure that he'll have a lot to say as well. I think people need to realize as well that actually, do you know what? Even if Chelsea want him to continue, he might think, do you know what? Actually, I don't want to continue. There's every chance that could be the case as well. What else have we got going on here? They do. They are successful in sports. Just because it's a sport that you can't be relegated in, they have had success in sport. Yes. Everyone hit the likes. It does take seconds, guys. Do you know what I mean? It takes seconds. There's 75 in the building, only 36 likes. Guys, we've got to improve this ASAP. I think our best option is to bring a manager that is used to a young team. Yeah, but this is exactly what Pochettino would be. And as I was saying in the stream yesterday, there's going to be a very small pool of managers to choose from. And the grass isn't always greener, as we were discussing yesterday when we were talking about comparing Graham Potter's and Pochettino. Everyone wanted Potter gone, and I guess rightfully so. But the grass isn't always greener. And 12 months on, when we're not there. I always hit the like button before. Yep, respect. Alfie Gilchrist. Yep, he signed a new contract. That's that's great. I'm going to dive into that a bit later on. No, Roman never directly. I mean, I can't remember, but there was always club communication. It just feels like there's not very much. There's not an awful lot of communication, but there is through club channels and whatnot. Look, I think there is a sense of entitlement at Chelsea, but I think when you've got concerns about what's happening at the club, then you've got every right to get in touch with the club and just ask for an explanation as to why you're doing things a certain way. I don't think that's an outrageous thing to suggest at all. I've been asking myself, if this same squad was coached by De Zerbi, would we be 11th? Because I guarantee you our players are better. Yeah, player for player, we are better than Brighton. Yes, we are. Player for player, we're a lot better than a lot of the teams around us. But that's not how football works. As a team, we're still wanting big time. Defensively, we're shocking. Midfield is not great still. It depends. Honestly, it would depend. If Pochettino wanted him, and Lukaku wanted to actually come back and, he apologised and he was ready to go, then I would give it another go, because what he is everything we're looking for in a centre forward. But it's a hypothetical situation because it absolutely isn't going to happen. I'm going to get onto this. I don't think no manager would want to go there, but it's not the sort of manager that people think would want to go there. That's the major difference. Yeah, well, I think it's only 1 point better off. We had 39 points after 28 games last season. We got 40 points now, so we're a point better off than we were last year. Mourinho's not going to come under this ownership. We know that. Man City get to spend 100 million on players everyone because they sell academy players, but when Chelsea tried to do it, it's a problem. No, they let go of Palmer because Palmer wanted to go. That's the difference. They weren't forcing Palmer out the door. You know, they wanted to keep Cole Palmer, but he wanted to go and play regular football. That's the difference. No, I don't think so. The absolute limit right now for this Chelsea team is top 6. That is the absolute limit. But yeah, we've got to work on getting to a top 4. No, I don't think we need to, because you know, you look at it and you'd have Enzo, Caicedo, hopefully a fit Romeo Lavia, and then you could use either Andre Santos, Casadei, or an Ugochukwu, for example, as the 4th if you're playing a pivot. I wouldn't necessarily bring another one in. And then you can actually play number 10s in the number 10 position, which would be great. You know, it really would be. But yeah, look, Todd's spoken. It's not what we were really wanting as such. Hasn't really addressed any fan concerns, but he has said something on Chelsea in a much wider ranging interview with Forbes. But yeah, it's not ideal, to be honest. Just to say, oh yeah, we're not changing what we're doing. You know, he should have spoken to the fans directly. Those that travel week in, week out, give you money to watch, you know, what is a shocking product right now. And again, no one really standing up and taking accountability. Once again, that is the big thing. No one is taking accountability for what's going on. But yeah, look, saying it to Forbes instead of through the club channels, just perfectly sums this ownership up to an absolute T. That is the big problem right now. Not a big deal. Didn't see him. Sterling did exactly the same thing. It's not a big deal. It shouldn't even be a discussion point. Yeah. Lavia, Palmer, Frimpong, Sancho. This is how Man City win. It starts with academy, and that's what our owners are trying to do. Look, obviously, academy products are going to be sold, but you know, it shouldn't just be, oh, we're going to sell the academy players to make up for the expensive mistakes that we've made. That absolutely can't be the way to operate. That simply cannot be the way. It cannot be the way at all. But yeah, let's wait and see if anything else happens in regards to any more speaking. But yeah, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. And it would have been such an easy PR win for Boehly as well to just say this through the club channels. But it is what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately. You know, what can we say? What can we say? But yeah, let's move away from Todd Boehly and his communication. And let's have a look. Do you think any of our current players get into our winning side in 21? Look, as individuals, maybe, yeah. But ultimately, as a team, perhaps not. I don't think many do get in. You know, obviously Cole Palmer would get in. You probably put Enzo Fernandez in there. But other than that, I don't think many do get in. Todd made mistakes and he'll continue to, but this guy that is part of the Lakers. Yeah, no, look, they're going to continue to make mistakes. And look, long term, I think they will absolutely get this right. But are they going to learn from their mistakes? Are they willing to learn from their mistakes? And how long is this going to take? Are 3 big questions that we don't know the answers to. Man, I don't follow him because the account's so inactive. Nothing gets posted on there. We should give our injury-prone players next season to be able to play at least half a season. Otherwise, we need to sell them the following summer. Yeah, potentially. If we had FSG as owner, you lot would cry for someone like Boehly. Look, I don't hate the ownership as much as other other people do. I absolutely don't. But look, it's clear they've made a lot of mistakes. They're not helping themselves. They're trying to build a relationship with the fan base, and speaking through glossy publications rather than directly to the fans is, it's not the best. If we're being brutally honest, it's not great. No one's asking for a world-class team in 18 months, but I think it's fair to ask to not be in 11th place with the amount of money we've spent and the quality of players that we've got. But anyway, let's move away from Todd Boehly and what he's been saying, and let's move on to a little bit of contract news, which is good news for a change at Chelsea. It's exactly what is deserved. It's what it's some positive news, which is not always the case at the club this day and age. The Telegraph reporting that Cole Palmer is set to be offered a new deal following an exceptional season. Cole Palmer is expected to be rewarded for his incredible first season at Chelsea with an improved contract that will include a lucrative pay rise. His current deal is on around £80,000 a week. And it's almost like suddenly Chelsea are realizing that you have to pay top players good money. I'm glad we're kind of realizing that now. But better late than never. If you want top players, you do have to pay them the top money. But yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised at this. I don't think anyone would deny it. And Chelsea realizing that if you want to keep these very good players, then, as I said, you've got to pay them like top players. Imagine my shock at that. But yeah, it's absolutely deserved for Cole Palmer. I don't know where we'd be in regards to league table position and whatnot if we didn't have Cole Palmer. We would be in big trouble. And yeah, he's been absolutely exceptional. I think the big test will be what will he be like next season? Because it's all very well and good, coming in and having a good season, brilliant. But I'm not saying he won't back it up, but you need to be able to back it up as well. That's what the top players do. As I've said before, any player can come in and have one phenomenal season. The top players back it up. I've got no doubt that Palmer will back this up, and he absolutely deserves a new contract, deserves a pay rise. In terms of what his pay rise should be, I don't know. He's on 80 grand now. I don't think it's unrealistic for this extension to be 150, maybe between 130 and 100, between 130 and 150 grand. I think that's absolutely fair. Guys, let me know in the chat. What do you think Cole Palmer's new wage should be? Obviously currently on £80,000 a week at Chelsea, going to be offered a new contract reportedly. What do you think is a fair wage for him, given how he's performed this season and how integral to the side he's been? Do let me know, people. Do let me know. What else is popping off at the moment? Let's have a look. But yeah, look, he's absolutely been sensational. Guys, there's 90 in the building. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Keep smashing that like button. We're on 55. Let's get this as close to 100 likes as we can. Keep smashing that like button. And please keep subscribing to the channel if you are new round here as well. He's getting what Enzo makes. I think Enzo's on a bit more than that. If it weren't for Palmer, Gusto, Petrovic, we'd be in I don't think we'd be in a relegation fight, but yeah, we would be struggling. He should get more money than Sterling. Well, Sterling's on over 300 grand a week, and that absolutely isn't going to be happening. Yeah, it's got to be in excess of 100 grand. Absolutely. But yeah, look, Palmer thoroughly deserves this new deserves a new contract. There's no doubt about it. He's been an absolute revelation since he came in. There's absolutely no denying that whatsoever. And look, apparently he's the favourite as well to be named as the PFA Young Player of the Year, which isn't a surprise. Having said that, if Arsenal were to win the league, then I think Bukayo Saka would get it. But in the same Telegraph article, Insiders believe Cole Palmer is the current leading candidate to be named the PFA Young Player of the Year. It would be thoroughly deserved. There's no two ways about it. No two ways about it at all. And he's the reason why we're not in a much worse position than we are. He's absolutely exceeded all expectations this season. One of the best attackers in England, and he's becoming a leader in the squad. And he absolutely deserves to be amongst the higher end of the owners at Chelsea. Sign him up for 8 more years is all I can say. He's been utterly superb. Just like last month in the Premier League, 3 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. Bring us our Player of the Month award. That's what we're waiting for. Lucrative pay rise. I think it's going to be close to 140, 150. And no one could argue with that whatsoever. No one could argue with it at all. So yeah, standout performer. He's been absolutely brilliant for the club. Absolutely brilliant. Palmer's much better than Sterling right now. Yeah, Sterling's got the CV in his back pocket, but yeah, he's not all that, Sterling. I hope Palmer doesn't. No, he's not going to leave us next season. 100%. When it comes to defense, it didn't help out that we had to play for weeks and months without a stable setup. Usually 1, sometimes 2 or 3. Yeah, no, of course, I get that when you're like, we've not had a settled back 4, but that's not an excuse for letting in the amount of goals we're letting in and for the way that we've been defending. Every time a ball goes in the box, we look like conceding. We're making stupid mistakes at the back, not just individual errors, but basic, marking errors, people not picking men up. It's basics that, regardless of whether you've got a settled back line or not, those mistakes are mistakes that should not be being made. That is the simple reality of the situation, guys. Do you think he plays? I think he goes. Do I think he plays? I don't think he'll start much at the Euros, but I think if he carries on how he does for the remainder of the season, then he absolutely needs to be on the plane and have some part to play. Part of me feels though that I don't think both Gordon and Palmer will go. I think only one of those will go. And look, Cole absolutely should be in there. He just got a contract, need 2 more years of the same before. It's not going to be an extended contract. It would just be an improved contract with a pay rise. I don't see there being any issue on that front whatsoever. It should be an extended contract with a pay rise. Malagusto, there's been no update on Gusto being injured. I've not seen anything about Gusto being injured. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. I mean, I'll play Gusto, but if he's injured and unavailable, then it'd probably be Disasi at right back with Badiashile and Silva in the middle with Cucurella left back. That's what I would do. Yeah, I would say so as well. Should get Manager of the Month. Yep. Sterling's been on the decline for a number of years. Yeah, we're not going to sell Palmer. I think 150 grand is probably about right. Yeah, we're going to get onto that in a sec. No, I don't know either. I don't know what any of us should. I don't know what to expect in any Chelsea games. If we're being brutally honest, got no idea. Yeah, no, I was, because it was a disgraceful performance. I every right to be fuming. It was shocking. Hopefully, I won't be fuming on Thursday, but chances are I probably will, and then maybe I'll be slightly happier on Sunday. Let's wait and see on that front. Wonder if the new set piece coach will tell the players to stop giving away stupid free kicks around the edge of the box. Well, I mean, it doesn't need a set piece coach to tell you that. The manager should be doing that. We shouldn't be giving away stupid fouls around the edge of the box when we are as poor at defending set pieces as we are. That simply can't run. But yeah, Cole Palmer, new contract. Big up to Cole Palmer. Thoroughly deserved. And he is, all our hopes now are on Cole Palmer. If he doesn't play well, then we are in big trouble. that's the reality. That's the reality of the situation, guys. So yeah, let's wait and see more news on Cole Palmer and his new contract as and when it comes. But yeah, obviously we're in line. He's in line for a pay increase, and he would thoroughly deserve that. And let's hope that he can continue to do the business for the remainder of the season. No idea. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a hamstring problem, but ultimately there's been no communication from the club about the injury issue. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think Palmer needs to improve more? He needs to improve his work off the ball. Defensively, will obviously need to improve. You can always get better. You can always get better. His best position, and he said it himself, I think, is playing off the right. Yeah, of course, there's always room to improve. Palmer will not leave because he will not start for another big team. No, Palmer's not going to leave. I don't know why people think Palmer might leave after one season. That absolutely isn't the case. Yeah, I mean, look, he's been here one season, but if he carries on the way that he's been going, and and develops the way that we all hope he will, then yeah, there's an exceptional player in there. No, absolutely no doubt about it. There is a top player in there, and yeah, it's exciting times, But yeah, Cole Palmer, new contract on the table. Let's hope he keeps doing the business for the remainder of the season, and it will be thoroughly deserved. Talking of new contracts, people, there's been another new contract today. No, it's not Conor Gallagher new contract, but it is a new contract for Alfie Gilchrist. And he has signed a new deal through to 2026 with an option for a third year. Sorry, for an additional year. Sorry. Chelsea have agreed a new contract with Alfie Gilchrist. The new deal will run to 2026 with the option of a further year. Look, makes sense to tie him down. Would I say this was a priority? No, not really. Is he going to be at the club next season? No. I think the plan is for him to be loaned out to a championship club to continue his development. That would absolutely make sense. We've had good success in the championship this season with Amari Hutchinson, and I think for Gilchrist, it would be exactly the same. New contract, it's deserved. He loves the club. He's been here his whole life. It's a proud moment for him and his family. Do I think that he's going to be someone that breaks into the Chelsea first team on a regular basis? It's too early to tell. I'm not really sure, but yeah, he definitely needs to go on loan. The fact that Matt Law putting in his article that Chelsea think this might go some way to appeasing some of the fans is classic. It's not going to please the fans at all. So yeah, look, it's great that he's signed and he's obviously going to stay until 2026, maybe 2027. And obviously, as part of his development, the Athletic reporting that Chelsea are planning to loan Alfie Gilchrist to a championship club next season as part of his development, and 3 to 4 teams have already expressed an interest. Yeah, this is all well and good, guys. This is all well and good. I just feel like they've done this to try and get some of the fans back on side. Because of the ongoing Conor Gallagher situation, obviously really isn't helping right now. Yeah, things are difficult at Chelsea. There's no denying it. But look, it's nice that Gilchrist has signed a new contract. It's great for him. We should all be happy. Back for Man U game, as in what? Am I going to the Man U game? Yeah, I am. Who's back for the Man U game? I'm not sure. It's good Gilchrist got a new contract, but it seems a bit... it does seem a bit random, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I had no idea when his contract expired. Maybe it was 2025. In which case, yeah, give him a new deal, send him out on loan, kind of see what happens. I think it'll be Ipswich, Leicester and Leeds. But I don't know in what order. Sooner we get a striker in the summer who links very well with Palmer and Mudryk, will start seeing things move forwards quicker. We need someone who's good with their... We need a penalty box striker, basically someone who is good with their back to play, can hold the ball up, bring others in, and is just clinical in the box. That is exactly what we need. But yeah, Alfie Gilchrist, new contracts. That's what we should be. That's the latest news on him. He's going to go out on loan next season. Whether he plays much of a part for the remainder of the season, I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens on that front. But yeah, some decent news that he has that he signed a new contract and he'll go out on loan. Yeah, Ivan Toney should be the one. Connor is a crutch for Poch's structural issues. Yeah, I would agree that right now, Gallagher, having had his moment, he's kind of causing this team more issues than not in terms of we need a proper number 10 playing in there. You're not going to do anything decent as a team if Conor Gallagher is your main number 10. That's the reality. That's the reality of the situation right now, guys. There's no escaping it. Absolutely no escaping it. But yeah, there's also no escaping the fact that we're still on 68 likes. Guys, run this up. Come on, people. Let's get it done. 96 in the building, 68 likes. Please keep hitting that like button. Let's get it up to 70, 80 likes if we can. I'd appreciate all your support. And please keep subscribing to the channel if you are new round here as well. Yeah, but definitely nice trip to Portman Road. Why not? Palmer's not going anywhere. He's not. Yeah, it's good. Great. It's turned out to be a very good signing. Yeah, no, he absolutely is. Who do you play at the 10? Well, ideally Christopher Nkunku when he's back and fully fine, but Mudryk can certainly do a good job there. Chukwuemeka can also do a job there as well. So we have got options. Yeah, I'm sure they probably will. Yep, Gusto's doing exceptionally well. However, I feel like Phil Costello isn't good enough to be the only 8 like Kante used to be. I think that's why he plays. Yeah, potentially. Although we're just playing a midfield pivot though, so shouldn't really be a problem. But well, they want to look. This ownership have wanted to sell Gallagher from the moment they took over. His contract runs out in 2025. Still hasn't been offered a new deal. Be interesting to see what happens this summer. Yes, he'd represent pure profit on the books. Is he good enough to be starting every week for Chelsea? No. Is he good enough to be a squad player? Absolutely. Should he be kept as a squad player? Absolutely, in my opinion. No, look, he's not the problem. No, but he is becoming an issue, I feel, in my opinion. Yeah, I want to see Nkunku as number 10. Look, if Lukaku's attitude wasn't such a problem, then we would have ourselves. We wouldn't have the striking issue that we currently do. I think Romeo Lavia is that number 6. He's a very talented boy, very highly regarded, in the game in terms of talent and ability and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do next season. I actually don't know. I've not looked into that. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, Gilchrist, new contract, is going to go out on loan to a championship club next season to continue his development. And that's going to be the key for Gilchrist, how he does in the championship, which is a tough division. How's he going to do? And, and how's he going to cope with playing week in, week out? That is what we need to, that's what we're going to ultimately find out. But let's move on to a bit of news about goalkeepers, because there's been quite a few reports emanating out of Brazil that Chelsea were interested in the Brazilian goalkeeper Bento, but Ben Jacobs has shut that one down. Chelsea are not leading the race or advancing anything for Atletico Paranaense keeper Bento. There has been no concrete move to date. I don't understand why we'd even be looking at new goalkeepers. New goalkeeper is absolutely not a priority. Yes, Sanchez hasn't been great, but Petrovic looks like a really good goalkeeper. In terms of list of priorities and where we're at, a goalkeeper is absolutely not on the list of priorities, or it's certainly well down. Bento, I think, is well regarded within Brazil. I think he played at Wembley in the friendly over the international break. I think he's a decent enough goalkeeper, not amazing by any accounts, but is he better than what we've got? I don't really know. I don't know enough about him. But yeah, goalkeeper absolutely wouldn't be an area that I'm looking to fill right that Chelsea should be looking to fill right now. And also Ben Jacobs adding on the same account that Chelsea are not looking currently. Let me just bring this up now. Buying another keeper is not the priority for Chelsea this summer. They are happy with the current keepers, Sanchez and Petrovic. Excuse me. Gargaslina is highly rated for the future, and the Kepa Arrizabalaga situation needs to be resolved. So, yeah, that is the problem. Look, I think Petrovic is looking very good, looking like a very good signing. Sanchez, I don't want to fully write him off, but I was never fully convinced on him. Yeah, he did well at Brighton under Graham Potter. Didn't do well there under Roberto De Zerbi. Come to Chelsea, has done okay in some games, but just doesn't look like he's up to it. And Petrovic just looked a lot better than him. So, yes, we've got Slonina. Yes, Sanchez probably get another go next season. Whether he can win that number 1 jersey back or whether he's happy to be a number 2, let's wait and see. And then we obviously got the Kepa situation to sort out, where when he comes back, I think he's going to have 1 year left on his contract. He's obviously not going to play for Chelsea again, but we're in a situation where the loan move to Real Madrid's not gone particularly well. He's played a few games, but then Lunin has displaced him from the team. And now Kepa's not getting back in, and he's just sitting on the bench at Madrid. And he wouldn't even be a second choice there. It would be Courtois and Lunin. So I think that the opportunity for Kepa to go to Real Madrid, I think that boat has sailed. And I honestly don't know where Kepa's going to end up. There will be some sort of market for him. Absolutely, that there'll be some sort of market for him, but I don't know what market. We're not going to get very much money for him with 1 year left on his deal. If we got 25 million, that really would be outstanding. But I don't know I don't even know if we'd get that much from him. I think Kepa, look, there might be options in Italy for him. I'm sure there'll be some other options in Spain. And there'll also be Saudi as well. Look, I could certainly also see a situation where Chelsea come to an agreement just to terminate the last year of Kepa's contract and he goes as a free agent. If we're struggling to find a market for him, then I could see that potentially being a feasible option. But, ultimately, at the same time, I think there will be clubs that are interested in him. And I think we're just going to have to accept that we're not going to get much money for this guy. But let's just get his wages off the books, because he is on big wages. So we can, even if we get his wages off the books, that's a decent saving. That's a decent saving there. But yeah, look, goalkeeper. I think if Chelsea at some point we're going to get back to winning the Premier League, we probably do need a better goalkeeper than Petrovic and Sanchez. But look, I think if Chelsea are going to sign a new goalkeeper at some point in the future, it needs to be one of the best, one of the top 3, top 5 goalkeepers in the world. Otherwise, it doesn't really make much sense to make a small upgrade or kind of a sideways move. That doesn't really make sense in my mind. So yeah, right now, no plans for a new goalkeeper according to Ben Jacobs, and I think that's absolutely the way that it should be. Chelsea don't need another goalkeeper right now. Maybe in a few years, yes, but another goalkeeper now, absolutely not. In my opinion. Right, let's move away from goalkeepers. Let's briefly touch on centre backs before touching on potential managerial targets as well. Guys, keep smashing the like button. We are 74 likes. Let's get this to 80 likes as quickly as possible. Please keep hitting the subscribe button as well, guys. If you're new round 10, you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Slowly getting towards 9,000 subscribers. We've got about 730 odd to go. So yeah, still a bit of a way to go, but yeah, keep subscribing and whatnot. It's greatly appreciated. What are people saying in the chat? What's going on here? Where would Lavia even play? Either in the pivot, or if we switch to a 4-3-3, he'd play as the lone six, in my opinion. Right, what else is coming in here? We don't need another goalkeeper. We need to look at a striker. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And let's quickly talk centre-backs, because Ben Jacobs has said that in regards to Ousmane Diamonde, Chelsea have always planned to bring in a centre-back this summer. Ousmane Diamonde is undoubtedly one name quite high on the list of possibilities. The challenge is the fee. It's not going to be an easy negotiation. I think there's a hefty release clause in there. You know, these clubs aren't stupid. Sign cheap and then put a release clause in, so you're guaranteed to make a fat profit. Look, Diamonde is undoubtedly a very talented defender, 20 years old, doing very well at Sporting Lisbon and Ivory Coast International. But at the same time, I'll be honest, we don't need another young centre-back. We've got Badiashile, we've got Colwell, we've got Wesley Fofana. Why do we need another centre-back who's in their early 20s? It doesn't make sense. The squad planning, the squad building is totally wayward, totally lopsided. And we're going to go for another centre-back, as I've been saying. You know, you need to go for a slightly older option, a slightly more experienced option, someone that's maybe been around the block a little bit, someone that's got the leadership skills. And look, I don't think we don't need, in my opinion, we don't need a starting level centre-back. We need a squad. We need a squad centre-back who is happy to work at, is happy to kind of play a squad role and obviously not play every week. That's the reality of the situation. So let's obviously wait and see what happens on that one. Diamonde, look, I don't think he's a bad signing, but he's going to, I think his release clause is something like £70 million. And to be spending £70 million on a centre-back, you know, when we've got good young centre-backs on the books already, really doesn't make sense. And those funds could definitely be used better elsewhere. Look, I like Diamonde, and I think he's a good player and will go on to become a top centre-half. But right now, for the squad and the way it's looking for us, we absolutely don't need to be spending £70 million on him. It doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense at all. So, yeah, I think that we need to fix up on that and put our eyes elsewhere. But ultimately, you know, that we need to wait and see. We need to wait and see. But I just think that would be, I don't want to say a waste of money, but it's definitely funds that could 100% be better spent elsewhere. You know, look, we shouldn't, in my opinion, we should not be spending in excess of £50 million on a centre-back. We don't need to be doing that. You know, how much money do we want to spend on centre-backs? It just seems a madness, really. It just seems a complete and utter madness. I get it, it's the model, but it's not necessary. You know, surely we should be looking at our options and realising that, yeah, do you know what? We don't need this many. We absolutely don't need another young centre-back in his early 20s. Like, what's that about? What is that about? What is that about? It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. But do you know what? It is what it is. The owners are going to do what they want to do. The directors are going to sign who they want to sign. And would it surprise me if we ended up with a 20-year-old centre-back with that's going to cost us best part of £70 million? No, it really wouldn't. And you know, it's just not pleased about that. We might potentially be looking to go down that route. It just doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense. But hey, what do I know, guys? What do I know? Absolutely agree. Well, look, striker in the summer is going to cost you. It's going to cost you a lot of money. If it's Osimhen, it's going to cost you £113 million. If it's Seska, it's going to cost you a cheaper 43. If it's Gilchrist, it's going to cost you 88. If it's Ivan Toney, it's going to cost you somewhere in the region of 70 million pounds. So yeah, you're going to be looking at, if it's a non-release clause striker, you're going to be looking at minimum 70 million pounds. And if it's a release clause striker, you're looking at in excess of 100 million or close to. That's the reality of the situation, people. That is where we're at. With these owners, but yeah, I hope Pochettino tells us what knows for me. I think he's told them that multiple times, but I don't know how much weight his comments actually carry. If we're being brutally honest here, and I think I'm not sure how much weight they do carry. Yes, big up, brother. Yeah, guys, keep smashing the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. 76 likes. Let's get this up to 80 likes as quickly as possible. We are almost there. Almost there. Let's keep it moving, people. Let's keep it moving. Yeah, what will be on 76? Right, run it up, guys. Run it up. I don't think we'll sign players from Sporting with the Ugarte saga. No, I don't think that's. I don't think that's ruined relations. But I'd like to think it hasn't. Again, I'm not really too sure what went on there. PSG obviously offered more money and whatnot, but yeah, it seemed like we'd pretty much got that deal done, and then it was gone. But I don't think there's bad blood between the clubs because of that. I'm not sure the ownership will change their transfer policy. No, they won't. They're not changing it. They basically said as much. So, like that's not a great position to be in. I did a video on that on Sunday, I think. Yeah, on Sunday. Just my thoughts on it. Just nonsense, really. But yeah, there's a separate video on the channel detailing my thoughts on that. So if you've not watched it, then yeah, check that out for my detailed thoughts. But yeah, it's not something that I believe to be true. When it comes to FFP, we'll be more than good. Amari is wanted by a host of clubs. We're not going to sell Hutchinson. Well, certainly not yet. They are intelligent businessmen. Well, there's no one's denying that. But yeah, it's just the principle, really. That's the main issue. Our biggest problem is in defence is coaching. We don't press as a team. Can I say? Look, the defence is shocking. And look, as we touched on earlier, you can absolutely say that there's been problems with injuries. So we've not been able to field a consistent back line. I absolutely get that, but yeah, it's not ideal. Absolutely, it's not ideal. I'd like to. There's not going to be wholesale changes. I'd like to think there'd be like a couple of exceptions to bring in some players that are ready to make an impact right now. I'd love to think that would be the case, but maybe that's me being naive, and that's just not the case at all. Boehly and Co. Let's not change the plan. We do need some world-class players that are older. We just need more leadership. We need more leadership and more experience, but really leaders. On set pieces, we do zonal defense. But like whether it's zonal or man marking, like we shouldn't be conceding as many goals from set pieces as we are, and that is something that has to change. And hopefully, with the arrival of the set piece coach in the summer next season, we should look better defensively, better at defending and attacking set pieces. Let's hope so. No, I don't think the players are looking to get him sacked at all. You watch the games and you don't get. There's not a feeling, in my opinion, that these players aren't playing for the manager. I think quite the opposite. I think they are very much playing for the manager. You can tell when players aren't playing for the manager. It's good that Todd has come up with his comments today, but ownership need have more communication with the fan groups. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, leaders is the big one. That is the main one. no leaders, and that's what needs to be addressed. And there's not that many leaders. Yes, some of these players we've got now will develop into those leadership roles, but ultimately, we are lacking the leaders. That's the reality, guys. We are lacking the leaders, and we need them. Where do I stand with Poch? He's not doing well enough, but I'm of the opinion that obviously he's going to get to the end of the season. If we qualify for Europe, or if we win the FA Cup or whatever it is, then he deserves to stay for another season. But if we miss out on Europe altogether, then there's no grounds for him staying whatsoever, in my opinion. Well, look, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think he's going to suddenly change his mind because I tell him that. Poch was a professional centre back and can't coach defence. I mean that. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not helping how many injuries you've got. That's absolutely a fair point. Yes, big up, big up. I don't doubt they can succeed in the long term. I don't want makes us think A, we'll attract top players, and B, our best players will hang around till then. I think we can attract obviously young talents because they've got time on their side, but top players who maybe it's like it's the one big move of their career, and they want to play Champions League and they want to play in the Premier League and they want to play at the highest level. They're not going to be as convinced because they've not got time on their side. And I think also for sure, best players hang around. That's also a fair point. How long will players want to stick around whilst the project is still not succeeding? That's also a fair point. There are even some interviews where players said that, is there anything being changed with the medical staff? I don't know. I think they're advertising for a new head of medical or something. I saw recently, but I don't know of any plans to revamp the medical department again. I'm sure we might get more. We'll get wind of that a little bit, maybe more towards the end of the season potentially. But I've not seen any plans. Look, lack of leadership is a major issue. We obviously are fully aware of that. We realise that. That's definitely helped them out for sure. Look, I don't know what the PSG injuries were like. Certainly at Spurs, there were injuries. I don't think it's all down to just his training methods. I think there's a severe lack of communication between medical staff and training staff. And there's a number of things. There's not just one thing to blame. There's multiple things at fault, in my opinion, as to why we're picking up so many injuries. That's the reality of the situation, in my view. But yeah, what else is popping off? Let's move away from the Diamonde stuff. I just wanted to talk about managers to finish off, and Ben Jacobs in a column that I think he's done for Talk for Caught Offside. There's obviously a chance a change is necessary if results don't improve, but Chelsea's owners don't want to do anything rash due to a belief that all manner of factors have led to a disappointing season to date, ranging from the young squad to injuries. Plus, right now, there is still hope the season can be turned around. Now, I agree, the season can still be turned around. Despite our best efforts, we can still qualify for the Europa League on two fronts, through the FA Cup and through league position. Somehow, despite our best efforts to fuck it up and throw it away, we are still in with a chance of finishing 6th in the league. But, whether we do that or not remains to be seen. So, look, the season can still be turned around. That's factually true. But the evidence on the pitch would suggest that that's going to be quite a difficult thing to do, if we're being honest. That's going to be quite tough. But it potentially can be. I understand that, they don't want to make yet another change. That'll be another acceptance that they've got things wrong yet again. Are they prepared to take a bit of a dent in their ego to accept that they've made yet another mistake? I don't know. Can we even trust these guys to then get the next decision right? That's another major issue. And yeah, we are in trouble potentially in the summer, because if Pochettino goes, we're then starting again. As I've said a number of times, the pool of managers that we're going to have to choose from will be very small. And they're unfortunately going to encounter pretty much the same problems that Pochettino's encountered. Yes, there might be some better man management, some better in-game management, or whatever, but they're just going to encounter the same problems. That is the reality of the situation. I have a bad feeling if Poch is sat, they'll get no. There's been absolutely zero in regards of Southgate to Chelsea. No, that doesn't strike me as something they would do. That just absolutely isn't the case. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But in terms of, like, he's again talking about potential like replacements, as it were. And as I've said before, as I was saying yesterday, Thomas Tuchel and Jose Mourinho are not thought to be being considered by Chelsea despite a short-term PR win. No candidate is actually being seriously pursued today, and Chelsea sources insist in particular that Roberto De Zerbi is not on the radar as it stands. Look, I think all clubs do succession planning. It's normal to look in case a manager gets sacked or in case a manager decides that he doesn't want to be there anymore. Those are all normal things. Look, I think they've definitely thought about it. I think, internally there will be, this idea that from the next 3 games, I think they need to look at a minimum of 7, but it should really be 9. And if we don't get that, then that again might accelerate their thinking of wanting to move in a different direction with a different manager. Those things are absolutely clear. I think De Zerbi to Bayern Munich could potentially have a lot of legs. Yep, they absolutely don't like being embarrassed. Look, and that's what I've been saying. They will get it right, but the problem is how long it's going to take, and what are the repercussions of the big problems in the short and medium term. That is the reality of where we're at right now. What are the repercussions? That's the big thing. Once again, obviously Fulham playing tonight. Broja hasn't made the matchday squad again. He's not injured, being left out for tactical reasons. In other words, he's shit, basically. So whilst we've pocketed 4 million because Fulham haven't played him, the whole point of that loan was to increase his transfer value by him getting some regular game time, and all it's done is shown that his value is basically gone through the floor. Potentially, yes. If we get De Zerbi, all he would need is a striker. If we get anyone else, we have to sell half this. I don't think that's the case. Tuchel is doing shit at Munich. He is. Yet De Zerbi's... look, if I'm being honest, I think De Zerbi ends up at Bayern Munich. I don't see a world in which De Zerbi comes to Chelsea. They have no idea about football for me, so they'll get Southgate because according to data, he's done well for England. Look, to be fair, I don't see Southgate featuring prominently on the list at all. Sporting directors need to go. Agreed. Tuchel is trash. He's getting fried with world-class players at his disposal. No, I don't think he would. And we saw that with the first half of the season, the first couple of months of the season he had before he got sacked, was that we were playing diabolical football and we were on a downward trajectory under him. And like with Tuchel, it's funny because everyone's grateful for what he's done, and he's loved at Chelsea for it. But conveniently, a lot of Tuchel fans just ignore his downsides and ignore the stuff and ignore the fact that he didn't do that well in the league and he had major faults. But that's conveniently all forgotten about. Rubbish loan, yep. You can't blame Boehly, you shit, bro. No, I'm not blaming Boehly for this. This is Paul Winstanley's last chance to get it right with the manager. Well, look, the manager goes, look, yeah, you can't be part of a thorough and extensive process and, get it wrong, yet again, that absolutely can't be allowed to happen. So let's wait and see what does happen. But yeah, for sure, in my opinion, like we're not going to be in a position um then yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. Cucurella, Kai said, Cole Walker, Madrid, all players. Yeah, I mean, Cucurella's not played under the De Zerbi before, but the other three all have and have done well. Look, I'm not saying that De Zerbi wouldn't be a good fit, but he's equally a big gamble as well. Hasn't managed a top club before. Yes, obviously, Shakhtar Donetsk is a top club in Ukraine, but the pressure's not the same at all. The Ukrainian league is very different. You know, he did okay in the Champions League with them, or whatever. But yeah, De Zerbi, whilst he's an attractive proposition and could do well, he's a major gamble, and his CV is not any better than Pochettino's. That's the reality. Tuchel isn't shit. Talk to the Bayern fans. Most of them don't blame him. I mean, I don't know any Bayern Munich fans, but you know, like he's doing dreadful job there. That's just the reality of the situation. Doing a poor job. I love De Zerbi. His football's good. Yeah, his football is top class. Well, look, he does play good football. But yeah, again, that doesn't mean that's going to then translate to Chelsea. That's the reality on that one, guys. The only one who can speed up the process is a proper manager. I just don't think that's the case at all. Like the reason why we're not progressing is not solely down to the manager. Yeah, he did, but then two people that can't say a bad word about Tuchel just conveniently forget how shit we were with him in the league. His faults, the fact that he falls out with players left, right, and centre, the fact that the players didn't want to play for him towards the end. I'm kind of warming to the idea of De Zerbi, so I wouldn't mind it, but who knows if he can manage a bigger club than Brighton. I think he can, but that's part of the gamble. It's a big step into the unknown with De Zerbi. A big step into the unknown with De Zerbi. So let's wait and see. Guys, we're on 89 likes. Let's try and get this to 100 likes if we can. Keep smashing that like button. 75 in the building still. Let's run it up, people. Run it up. Come on, guys. Let's get this to 100 likes. And please keep subscribing to the channel as well. Tuchel's on a downward trend towards the end, but still leagues clear of any of the managers that came after him. Yeah, I think he's obviously better than Graham Potter, and he's probably a better manager than Pochettino. I would agree on that front for sure. I don't think that's an unpopular thing to say. Someone has come in. Someone has to come in and stabilize the squad if we change manager and keep the team we have. Well, the team's not going to change very much. So, what Chelsea need more than anything is stability and continuity with playing squad and with the manager. And if young players having a year of Pochettino and then another change, which would be quite different. And so, yeah, I just don't know that's the right thing to do. I mean, look, Pep does always talk people up quite a lot. De Zerbi is very well thought of, but there's no denying that appointing Roberto De Zerbi would be a big risk. You know, he's not managed a top club. We don't know what he'd be like with top class players and the pressure and whatnot. You know, I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but let's not pretend that it's not a gamble, because that's a massive gamble. I mean, arguably, appointing Roberto De Zerbi was a bigger gamble than appointing Maurizio Pochettino. I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say. Yes, run it up, run it up. Yeah, I think there's no doubt that Tuchel's stock has taken a dent and it's not as high as it once was. And it's going to be very interesting to see what job he ends up with next. It's going to be very interesting to see. Any proper manager with a proper system can beat 10-man Burnley. Look, the Burnley result, inexcusable. Besides, the owners won't take him. No, they won't take Tuchel. Absolutely not. Yeah, every option's a risk, 100%. But there's some options that are probably less risky than others. But yeah, no denying it. Every option absolutely is a risk. No, we are a top club. Look, we're not doing well right now. We've had a couple of seasons in the dumps, but yeah, there's no denying we absolutely are a top club. We're just not performing like a top club right now. One thing I'm sure of is De Zerbi will have a defined style of play. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair to say that. I think that is very much would be the case. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Look, I think obviously Chelsea are succession planning like any club would. Are they going to pull the trigger on Pochettino? That depends on what happens in the remainder of this season. As I said, if he wins the FA Cup or if he qualifies for Europe or whatever, then I think he will stay. I think these guys want to stick with him. They don't want to do anything rash. And ultimately, only time will tell what we do. But it's in Pochettino's control. You've got to get the results, ultimately. Doesn't matter how much you want continuity and how much you want, a manager to do well. You have to pick the results up. These next 3 games, United at home on Thursday. Obviously, United home Thursday, Sheffield United away on Sunday, and then Everton at home the following Monday. Like, that's got to be 7 that's got to be 7 points minimum. Really, that's got to be 9 points. But I don't know if we're gonna be in a position where we can take 9 points from that, and that's a problem. Yep, and this is what I've been saying. The grass is not always greener. The grass isn't always greener, guys. And yeah, we are going to be in a situation where, we're not going to have the best options. It's going to be another young project manager, not that experienced, someone with a good reputation within the game. But that comes with its own problems, as we all too well know. Personally, I go deserve patterns of play. Brighton play beautiful football, and when it comes to making the most out of young players, he might be the best for it, potentially. Qualifies. Look, if we get in a conference league, we're in the conference league. Yeah, it's not where we want to be. But he would probably end up staying. Managers who can manage a squad of players when things are down, the same names crop up, and we know who they are. What happens if we lose to United and Sheffield United? Well, he's not going to be here next season, but they're not going to change things with 8 games to go. But yeah, absolutely, that would be, that would be a couple of nails in the coffin, and he would be done, in my opinion. The best we can hope for is a draw against United. I think we've beaten them once since either 2016 or 2018. We've beaten them once in the league since then. The record is absolutely diabolical. There's no escaping that fact. The record is dreadful. And yeah, record is absolutely dreadful. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what we can do. But this is going to go down to the end of the season. 2017 was the last time we beat them in the league. There we go. 1 win against United in the league since 2017. That's criminal. But that is for another day, people. That is for another day. This is going to go to the end of right down to the end of the season. Depending on how we do will depend on Pochettino, whether he continues or not. Of course, we have to factor in the fact that even if he does, win the FA Cup or he does qualify us for the Europa League, does he want to continue at Chelsea? There's also that factor that he might think, what? This is not for me. This is not perhaps how I thought it would be. I actually don't want to be here anymore. There's always that possibility as well. But yeah, guys, I'm going to round this one out here. I'm going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's locked in tonight. Greatly appreciate all of your support as always. We're 5 likes away from 100. Please smash that like button on the way out. Let's get this to 100 likes. Hit the subscribe button as well if you are new round here. Trying to get towards 9,000 as quickly as possible. Every new subscriber helps, so please do that. Guys, I will be back again tomorrow. I won't be live, but there will be a match preview video because I'm working tomorrow evening, so I won't be able to go live in the usual slot. So I'll record a video, and there'll be an uploaded match preview for the Man United game. So make sure you stay tuned for that dropping tomorrow. Otherwise, guys, big yourselves up. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will catch up with you all again soon. Love for the support as always. Smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. Up the Chelsea, and peace out.